When you first hear the name Steal a Brainrat, it sounds almost like a joke. And honestly, that's kind of the point. This whole thing started from the weirdest corner of the internet. A meme trend that made absolutely no sense, and that was exactly why people loved it. It was chaotic, random, funny. It was called Italian Brainrot. Now, if you don't know what that is, picture this. Surreal AI-generated characters with human faces on animal bodies, talking nonsense, moving weirdly, and yet somehow being impossible to look away from. It was a kind of content that spread through TikTok and Discord servers like wildfire. So bad, it was good. And somewhere in that chaos, a few developers saw something bigger. They saw a chance to turn that internet weirdness into a game. So in May of 2025, a Roblox developer known as Brazilian Spider, together with a few others like Spider Sammy and Do_Small, dropped a game that would completely take over the platform. They called it Steal a Brainrat. And that one idea, turning meme culture into gameplay, exploded way beyond what anyone expected. At first, it was small. A quirky Roblox game inspired by the whole Brainrot meme thing. You'd start with one of these bizarre creatures called a Brainrat, and it would automatically generate cash for you over time. Pretty standard idle game stuff. But then, there was a twist. You could steal Brainrots from other players. That's right. You could break into someone's base and literally take what they had worked for. That one mechanic changed everything. Suddenly, Roblox had a game that mixed collecting, flexing, grinding, and betrayal, all in one, and people loved it. The gameplay loop was addictive. You'd start small with basic Brainrots, maybe a common one that earns a few coins per second. Then, you'd upgrade, rebirth, unlock rarer types, rares, epics, legendary, mythic, even something called the Brainrat God. Each level made you richer and more powerful. Also, a bigger target. Because in this world, someone could sneak into your base and take it all. That kind of high-risk gameplay created moments players couldn't stop sharing. You'd see TikTok clips of people screaming as someone broke into their base, or crying because they lost a rare mythic Brainrat they'd spent hours grinding for. It became entertainment in itself. And as those clips went viral, so did the game. By June 2025, just weeks after launch, Steal a Brainrat was already pulling in hundreds of thousands of active players. Within months, it broke into the millions. Roblox had seen big hits before, games like Brookhaven or Adopt Me, but this one hit differently. It wasn't just fun, it was emotional. It had stakes. Every time you logged in, you weren't just playing, you were protecting your progress. That made every second exciting, and honestly, kinda stressful. But that stress is what kept people hooked. Losing something valuable hurts, and the chance of losing it makes getting it in the first place feel that much better. It wasn't long before Steal a Brainrat started breaking records. By the summer, it had passed 1 billion visits. By fall, it was sitting at tens of billions. In August 2025, it became one of the most played games on the entire platform. At one point, the game hit over 20 million concurrent players, an absolutely massive number, breaking Roblox's previous records. And it didn't stop there. By October 2025, Steal a Brainrat reached a new peak. Over 25 million players online at once. That's more than the population of some countries, all playing the same game at the same time. Part of the reason for that success is how alive the game feels. Every update adds something new. New Brainrots, new defense systems, new rebirth mechanics. The rebirth system especially keeps players engaged. You can reset your progress after reaching certain milestones, losing all your current Brainrots and cash, but gaining permanent bonuses that help you progress faster next time. It gives that feeling of endless growth. The more you lose, the more you gain in the long run. And that cycle keeps people grinding. But the biggest reason the game blew up isn't just gameplay, it's community. The players made this game what it is. The TikToks, the memes, the reactions, the arguments, they all turned it from a simple Roblox experience into a cultural moment. Latin American players in particular became a huge part of the scene. The community around Steal a Brainrat is incredibly global. You'll hear people speaking Spanish, Portuguese, English, and everything in between in public servers. It's chaotic in the best possible way. Of course, with all that fame comes controversy, and this game has had its fair share. First off, the stealing mechanic. It's what makes the game fun, but it's also what makes it brutal. Losing a rare brain rat can feel devastating, especially for younger players. Clips of kids crying after getting robbed started circulating online. And while some people found those moments hilarious, others thought it crossed the line. There were debates about whether the game was too harsh, especially since Roblox has such a young player base. Then came the money question. Like many Roblox games, Steal a Brainrot lets players spend Roblox's premium currency to buy upgrades or exclusive items. And some people accuse the developers of making it pay to win. Players with more Robux could defend their bases better or recover faster after being robbed. That imbalance created tension between casual players and those who spent real money. The developers have tried to balance things out over time. They've added better defense mechanics, made private servers safer, and occasionally rebalanced how stealing works. But that push and pull between chaos and fairness is what defines the game. It's what keeps it interesting. And honestly, it's what keeps people talking. Another issue that popped up was copyright. Because many of the brain rats are inspired by memes or viral characters, a few designs ran into legal trouble. One example was a brain rat called Tongue Sire, which had to be removed after copyright concerns. It was a reminder that when your entire concept is built around remixing internet culture, you're walking a thin line. Still, controversies didn't slow the game down. If anything, they made it more popular. Every viral clip, every argument, every joke about brain rat stealing, it all kept people curious. Everyone wanted to see what the hype was about. And once they joined, they stayed. One of the biggest factors behind that staying power is how the game taps into pure emotion. It's unpredictable. You could log in, expecting a quiet session, end up in a chase, stealing, or being stolen from. The highs are incredibly high, and the lows are just as intense. It's the same psychology behind gambling or competitive sports. The thrill of risk and reward. But because it's wrapped in meme humor and colorful chaos, it feels less serious and more like pure entertainment. The term brain rat itself has taken on new meaning since the game launched. Originally, it was internet slang, used to describe the kind of content that fries your brain from watching too much of it. Stuff that's so random, it feels like your IQ drops every second you scroll. But now, thanks to this game, Brainrot has become a brand. It's something people proudly claim. They'll say, yeah, I've got Brainrot, or I'm grinding my Brainrots like it's a badge of honor. That kind of cultural crossover, where a slang word becomes a lifestyle, doesn't happen often. And it's not just online either. The phrase steal a Brainrot has started popping up in everyday conversations, jokes, even merch. It's become part of internet language. Even people who don't play Roblox know what it is, or at least recognize the name. That's how you know something has gone beyond being just a game. It's entered pop culture. Behind the scenes, the developers have been careful to keep updating it regularly. That's one of the main reasons it hasn't died down like many Roblox games do. They keep adding layers, limited time events, special drops, new rarities, new systems that make people come back. And because the game is so community-driven, they listen to feedback closely. Sometimes they even implement fan suggestions or joke ideas straight into the game. That kind of engagement builds loyalty. Players feel like they're part of something that's still growing, not just a static product. The global scale of Steal a Brainrot is also staggering. Some estimates suggest the game has been visited over 30 billion times by late 2025, and that number keeps rising. Its concurrent user peaks in the tens of millions have made headlines, not just in Roblox circles, but across gaming news sites like Polygon and IG. When you think about how many games in history have ever hit kind of simultaneous player count, it's almost none. This isn't just big for Roblox, it's big for gaming as a whole. But what's really interesting is what it represents. This game shows how internet humor can evolve an entire gaming economy. Something that started as a niche meme, literally a joke about Brainrot, became a system where millions of people are trading, stealing, defending, and competing. It's the perfect example of how online culture keeps recycling itself into new forms of entertainment. Memes become games, games become trends, and trends become culture. Even if you've never played it, you've probably seen its influence. You've seen the TikToks, the memes, the kids yelling, "Give me my brain rat back." That's the cultural footprint we're talking about. So what's next for Steal a Brain? That's the big question. Will it keep growing, or will it fade like other viral hits? No one really knows. The developers could expand it further. Maybe spin-off modes, collaborations, even an entirely new Roblox universe built around the same concept. Or the meme could eventually burn out, replaced by the next wave of internet absurdity. That's the beauty and the curse of viral culture. Nothing lasts forever. But for now, Steal a Brain Rat still dominates the platform. It's one of those rare games that seems to capture exactly what the internet feels like right now. Fast, chaotic, hilarious, and just a little bit unhinged. And maybe that's why it resonates so much. Because in a way, we've all got a bit of... We're all scrolling to absurd videos, laughing nonsense, sharing memes that make no sense. This game just turned that reality into a playable experience. It's the gamification of modern internet culture, and somehow, it works perfectly. The story of Steal a Brain Rat isn't just about numbers or records. It's about how humor, chaos, and creativity can collide to make something that defines an era. It's about players who care so much about their weird digital creatures that they'll fight to protect them. It's about the rise of a new kind of community, one that thrives on madness, laughter, and a constant sense of risk. And most of all, it's about what happens when you take something completely ridiculous and treat it seriously. That's how new cultures are born. That's how memes turn into memory. So whether you love it, hate it, or just don't get it, there's no denying what Steal a Brain Rat has achieved. From a random meme to a record-breaking Roblox phenomenon, it's proof that the internet's strangest ideas can sometimes become its biggest successes. And that's kind of poetic, because maybe the real brain rat was the friends we stole along the way. So, what's your brain rat worth?